Hi there. Today's video is about alcohol. Uh, I don't know how many governments that have lockdowns are considering alcohol to be a staple, or calling alcohol a staple, and you're allowed to keep selling it. I know many governments are calling it a staple, and I think that's absolutely ridiculous. Booze isn't a staple. You're not going to drop dead if you don't have alcohol. I mean, I've heard, somebody told me that, well, if you're a hardcore alcoholic and you suddenly can't have booze, then you could have, you could go into some sort of shock, or your heart might stop or whatever. I don't know. It's like, fine, then go to the hospital. You're going to have to stop sometime, or you're going to die if you're just going to keep drinking and drinking and drinking. If you're so hardcore that if you suddenly stop, you're going to die, well, then obviously you better stop soon, pal, or your liver's going to get up and go bye-bye. Either through it won't be any good anymore, or you'll need to get a new one. Or you'll just die. So, and turn a not very appreciative, nice color of jaundicey yellowish before you do. There's people, I'm not religious in the slightest, but I know people who are, and the fact that in many places, like in the United States, you can't go, not all places in the United States, but many places in the United States, maybe all places, I don't know, you can't go to church. You can do go through a drive-through window at McDonald's to pick up fast food, but you can't go to, as far as I know, many places you can't go to a drive-through church to get communion, which I think is just a Catholic thing. I'm not sure. I don't know much about religious stuff, but actually I'm going to find out. Well, I guess it's not just, I just looked it up. It's a Christian thing. It's not just a Catholic thing. My apologies. So, and I don't know if there's things that Muslims and Jewish people can't do either that they're supposed to do every week, or it's nice they do every week, and they're not allowed to do. I don't know. I know even less about those religions and any other religions there are, like Buddhists and whatever. But the fact is that Christianity is pretty popular in America, and you're not allowed to go to communion. And I don't think you're even allowed to have drive-through communion. Maybe you are, but to me it seems obvious. Why can't you? Why can't you just have drive-through where the priest stands behind a plastic thing and he gives you communion, and what's the big deal? But I don't think they allow that. So which to me is against freedom of speech, freedom of religion. But anyway, so they make it real hard to go to church. I mean, you can't go to church. I mean, you can't go inside a church and congregate. Forget that. I mean, apparently they're going to start. They're talking about lessening the lockdown rules, but they might allow that soon. I don't know. But in many places, you're not allowed to go to church, but you're allowed to drink booze to your heart's content at home. Now, let's be honest. That's nothing to do with. That's not a staple. You're not going to drop dead if you can't drink booze, and if you are, you better go to the hospital, because if you're that serious, you're in real trouble. It's because if they stop letting people drink, they'll get pissed off a lot faster. Because if people can't drink, then they're going to get pissed off at these government lockdowns a lot quicker, and that's why it is. There's no other reason. This is purely because the government doesn't dare cut off people's booze because they're scared they'll rebel a lot quicker than if they didn't. So they call alcohol a staple, which it clearly is not. And that way they get around people freaking out because they can't have their booze. So I'm just saying, let's call it what it is. It ain't a staple. It's really we're allowing booze so you people don't get pissed off at us quicker than you might otherwise. Anyway, that's my thought for the day. Thanks for listening, and have a good day.